Screen, black, sound of typing, message notification. She typed the paragraph 3 times, deleted it twice. Her hands were shaking. I need to explain. But the cursor just blinked back at her, mocking. She'd spent 6 years explaining herself to people who were never going to understand. Tonight, something broke. She pressed delete one last time and put the phone down. Pause, 2 seconds of silence. This is what happens when you finally stop. Nobody tells you that silence feels like dying at first. Maya had been the girl with an answer for everything. The one who could justify, clarify, defend. Her thumbs had written novels in text threads. Her mouth had spent hours on phone calls, explaining why she felt what she felt. But here's the thing they don't tell you. Explanation is just another word for begging someone to validate your reality. And Maya was tired of begging. It started 3 months ago. Her best friend, Rachel, accused her of being distant. The old Maya would have written a 5-page response, would have traced every interaction, every moment, proving her loyalty. Instead, she wrote, "I'm sorry you feel that way." 7 words. Rachel waited for more. The more never came. Their friendship ended 2 weeks later. Maya cried for 3 days straight. Then something strange happened. She stopped crying, and she didn't try to fix it. Pause. That's when the transformation started. People romanticize closure. They think it's this beautiful thing where everything makes sense. But real closure is walking away while someone's still yelling questions at your back. It's the period at the end of a sentence they wanted to keep going. Maya's mother called. "Why aren't you talking to your brother?" "I have my reasons." "What reasons?" "Beat. I have my reasons." Her mother hung up angry, called back the next day. Maya didn't answer. She was learning something. Your silence makes people reveal who they really are. At work, her manager pulled her aside. "People are saying you're being cold." The old Maya would have panicked, would have done a listening tour, apologized, explained that she wasn't cold, just focused. New Maya just looked at him. Okay, that's it. What would you like me to say?" He stared at her like she'd grown a second head. He wanted a performance, wanted her to care about being liked. But Maya had discovered something. The moment you stop defending yourself, people lose their power over you. She went back to her desk. He didn't bring it up again. Here's what nobody tells you about explaining yourself. It's fucking exhausting. Every explanation is a piece of your energy handed over to someone who probably won't even listen. You're constantly on trial, constantly presenting evidence, constantly hopping 12 random people will decide you're good enough. Maya started noticing how much lighter she felt. Not happy, not yet, but lighter, like she'd been carrying a backpack full of stones and didn't realize until she set it down. Silence, 3 seconds. But lighter doesn't mean easier. Week 3 of silence and Maya's phone stopped buzzing. No more drama, no more "can we talk?" texts, no more people needing her to make sense of herself. Just quiet. She sat in her apartment on a Friday night, ordered takeout, watched the city lights through her window, and felt it, the loneliness, the kind that sits in your chest like a stone. Because here's the truth. When you stop explaining yourself, some people will leave, and you'll wonder if the silence was worth it. She almost picked up her phone, almost texted Rachel, almost went back. Pause. She didn't. Maya started watching people differently. At coffee shops, on the train, in meetings. Everyone was explaining, justifying, defending themselves to people who didn't actually care. She saw a woman apologizing to a man who was clearly wrong. Watched her twist herself into knots, trying to make him understand. He just looked bored. Maya wanted to walk over, wanted to whisper, "Stop, just stop talking." But you can't save people who aren't ready to save themselves. Her father's birthday, family dinner. Maya knew she shouldn't go, but guilt is a powerful drug. She walked into that house, and immediately her brother started. "So you're talking to us again." The room went quiet, everyone watching, waiting for the show. The old Maya lived in that room. She could feel her, clawing to get out, wanted to explain, wanted to make them understand why she'd been distant. Beat, longer pause. "I'm here for Dad," she said, then picked up her fork. Her brother's face went red. Her mother looked disappointed, but Maya ate her dinner in silence and left after dessert. She cried in the car, but she didn't go back. Late at night, Maya stared at her ceiling and asked herself the question, what if they're right? What if I am cold? What if I am the problem? This is the phase that kills most people. The doubt. The moment when silence feels like punishment instead of peace. Because maybe, just maybe, if you explained it better, if you used the right words, if you tried harder, they'd understand. Pause, 4 seconds. But Maya was learning. Some people don't want to understand. They want you to stay small, manageable, explained. 6 weeks in, and Maya didn't recognize herself. She'd stopped posting on social media, stopped updating people on her life, stopped performing. One morning, she looked in the mirror and saw a stranger. Someone quieter, someone harder to read, someone who didn't owe anyone an explanation. It scared her. Because when you stop explaining yourself, you also stop knowing who you are. You've spent so long defining yourself through other people's understanding that without it, you're a blank page. And blank pages are terrifying. Rachel texted, 3 months of silence, and there it was. "I miss you, can we talk?" Maya's heart jumped. This was it, the moment. She could explain now, could tell Rachel everything she'd wanted to say, could fix it. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard. Long pause, 5 seconds. She closed the message, didn't delete it, didn't block, just closed it. Because here's what Maya realized. Going back would mean explaining, and explaining would mean justifying, and justifying would mean she was still on trial. She put the phone down. Her hands were steady. Something changed at work. People stopped asking Maya personal questions, stopped trying to include her in drama, stopped expecting emotional labor. At first, it felt like rejection, but then she noticed they respected her more, not in a warm way, in a real way. They didn't know what she was thinking, so they couldn't dismiss her, couldn't put her in a box. Her manager offered her a project. "You're reliable," he said, not friendly, not warm, reliable. The old Maya would have been hurt. New Maya just nodded, because she'd learned people respect what they can't control. Late night. Maya couldn't sleep, memories flooding back. Every time she'd explained herself, every time she'd justified her feelings, every time she'd apologized for existing in a way that made someone else uncomfortable. She remembered being 15. Her boyfriend at the time told her she was too much. She'd spent weeks making herself smaller, quieter, less. She remembered being 23. Her roommate said she was hard to read. Maya had opened up, shared everything. The roommate used it against her 3 months later. Silence, 3 seconds. Pattern recognition is painful. Maya ran into Rachel at a coffee shop. Literally, spilled coffee, that awkward laugh, eye contact. "Hey. Hey." The silence was so loud. Rachel waited for Maya to fill it, to explain, to apologize, to perform. Maya just wiped the coffee off her jacket. "Take care," she said, and walked away. She heard Rachel say something behind her, didn't turn around, hands shaking, heart pounding, but she kept walking. Pause. And for the first time, she felt powerful. Here's the truth about silence. It forces people to confront themselves. When you stop explaining, they're left alone with their own narrative, and most people don't like what they find there. Maya's mother called. "Your brother says you hate him." "I don't hate him." "Then why won't you?" "Mom, I'm not doing this." "Doing what?" "Defending myself against something I didn't say." "Beat." Her mother was quiet for a long time. Then, "You've changed." "Yeah," Maya said, "I have." The call ended. Maya felt sick, but also free. Let's be honest, silence cost something. Maya's social circle had shrunk. Her phone barely rang. Holidays were lonely. She'd chosen peace over belonging, and some days it felt like a mistake. She'd scroll through photos of Rachel with new friends, see her family posting pictures without her, watch the world move on. And she'd wonder, did I make the right choice? Long pause, 4 seconds. But then she'd remember, the world wasn't moving on without her. It was moving on with a version of her that never existed. A new friend asked Maya about her family. "It's complicated," Maya said. "Oh, you can tell me. I'm a good listener." "I'd rather not." The friend looked offended. "I was just trying to." "I know, but I'd rather not." Silence. The friend changed the subject. Later, she texted, "You don't trust people, do you?" Maya didn't respond, because she'd learned boundaries feel like rejection to people who don't have them. 3 months in, and Maya started seeing clearly. All those explanations she'd given over the years, none of them changed anything. People believed what they wanted to believe, saw what they wanted to see. She'd wasted years trying to correct their vision. Her therapist asked, "What do you want people to understand about you?" Maya thought about it, really thought about it. Pause, 5 seconds. "Nothing," she said. "I don't want them to understand anything. I just want to exist without an explanation." Her brother showed up at her apartment. "We need to talk." "No, we don't." "You can't just cut people off." "I didn't cut anyone off. I stopped explaining myself. There's a difference." He looked at her like she was insane. "You owe us an explanation." And there it was. The core belief you owe us, your silence is theft. Your boundary is violence. "I don't owe you anything," Maya said, and closed the door. She sat on the floor afterward, shaking, not from fear, from the realization that some people will never forgive you for freeing yourself. Maya started journaling, not for anyone else, just for herself, writing things she'd never say out loud, thoughts she'd never have to justify. One entry: "I spent my whole life translating myself into a language other people could understand. But what if I'm not meant to be translated? What if I'm meant to be experienced, not explained?" She read it back. It sounded pretentious. She almost deleted it. Pause. She didn't. Because for the first time, she was writing for an audience of one. Something strange happened. A guy at work asked her out. Maya hadn't been thinking about dating, hadn't been performing availability. "What made you ask?" she said. "I don't know. You're different. You don't seem like you need anything from anyone." She almost laughed, because she needed lots of things, but she'd stopped advertising her needs, stopped making them everyone else's problem. "Beat." "Coffee," she said. "Sure." Not because she liked him, but because she was curious who she'd be on a date as this new version of herself. He asked her questions, normal first date questions. "Where are you from? What do you do? Do you have siblings?" "Yes," Maya said to the last one. "Are you close?" Pause, 3 seconds. "No." He waited for more. She didn't give it. He looked uncomfortable. "That's tough," he said. "It is what it is." The date was fine, not great, not terrible. He texted her after, "You're really guarded." She didn't respond, because she'd learned. Guarded is what people call you when you stop giving them access to your wounds. Rachel called, not texted, called. Maya stared at the screen, let it ring. Voicemail: "I know you're done with me. I just need to understand why. Please, just tell me what I did wrong. I can't move on without knowing." Maya listened to it 3 times, felt the pull, the old instinct, fix it, explain, make her understand. She deleted the voicemail, not out of anger, out of acceptance, because Rachel didn't need an explanation. She needed Maya to be the villain in her story, and Maya couldn't give her that anymore. 4 months in, and Maya started building a life that didn't require constant narration. She took a pottery class, didn't tell anyone about it, went hiking alone, didn't post photos. Started doing things just to do them, not to prove anything, not to explain herself, just to exist. One morning, she woke up and realized she hadn't thought about Rachel in 3 days, hadn't worried about what her family thought, hadn't replayed conversations. Pause. She was becoming someone new, someone without an audience. Her therapist asked, "Do you feel lonely?" "Yes." "Do you regret it?" Maya thought about it, really thought. "No," she said. "I feel lonely, but I don't feel alone. Before, I was surrounded by people and felt completely alone because none of them actually saw me. They saw the version I was explaining to them. Now, I'm alone, but I see myself." Pause, 4 seconds. "And that's enough." Her father called. "Your mother's in the hospital, nothing serious, but she's asking for you." Maya drove to the hospital, sat in the waiting room. Her brother was there. "Look who showed up," he said. She didn't respond, walked past him, saw her mother, held her hand. "I'm glad you came," her mother said. "Me too." "Are you okay?" "Beat. I'm figuring it out." Her mother squeezed her hand, didn't push. For the first time in Maya's life, her mother didn't demand an explanation. Maybe because Maya wasn't offering one. Some people came back, not many, but a few, the ones who could handle silence, the ones who didn't need Maya to be a certain way. Most didn't come back, and Maya stopped waiting. She started saying no without apology. "I can't without explanation. That doesn't work for me without justification." And the strangest thing happened. Her life got smaller, but it felt bigger. Fewer people, but more space. Less noise, but more clarity. Silence, 5 seconds. She wasn't happy all the time, but she was free. Here's what they don't tell you about stopping explanations. It doesn't fix everything. Maya still had bad days, still felt misunderstood, still wondered if she'd made the right choice. But here's what changed. She stopped needing other people to confirm her reality, stopped outsourcing her sense of self. She existed now, fully, completely, without translation. And some people loved her for it. Some people hated her for it. Most people didn't think about her at all. Pause. And that was okay. 6 months later, Maya sat in the same apartment. Same window, same city lights. But she was different. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was full of her, her thoughts, her choices, her life. She picked up her phone, saw a text from a number she didn't recognize. "You don't know me, but I saw how you handled that meeting last week. You didn't defend yourself when they attacked your idea. You just said, 'I stand by my work.' I've never seen anything like it. Thank you." Maya smiled, put the phone down. The weight of silence isn't heavy. It's the weight of everyone else's expectations that crushes you. When you stop explaining yourself, you're not carrying their weight anymore. You're just carrying your own. Text on screen. The world will demand an explanation. You don't owe them one. If this story touched something in you, you know what to do.